I want to ask as well about Kyle Larson, who's another driver locked into the championship for. The narrative around Larson this year in particular, but really his whole career, is he's checkers or wreckers. Like really fast. Very few drivers have the same, raw speed and ability that Kyle Larson seems to have, but he also has a knack for, or is prone to, overdriving, making mistakes. Sometimes it doesn't cost him. Like a week ago at Las Vegas, remember he almost wiped out, tagged the outside wall, saved it, and went on to win the race, but was this close to crashing out. This weekend at Homestead, was it entirely on him? Maybe, maybe not. Coming onto pit road, maybe overshot it a bit. Maybe Blaney entered a little slow. Either way, Kyle Larson into the sand barrels, finishes last. Doesn't really affect him since he's already locked into the championship four, but it's something to keep your eye on, not only going into the championship race at Phoenix, but even just going forward into Larson's career. Because is he 30 years old yet? Like, he's been around a while. So. He's been in the Cup Series 8 or 9 years, hasn't always been in the top equipment, but as many of impressive wins as he has these past few years, he's got almost as many sort of just head scratching, crashes or mistakes. I think he's either first or second this year in the Cup Series in DNFs, and not all of them are his fault. Like Darlington earlier this year, Chastain ran him into the wall and they both wrecked racing for the win. Like, it's not always his fault, but he is in the middle of a lot of these incidents despite being so fast. I don't know. What do you have a take on Larson?
Well, I have a take on this weekend for sure. I think it was just dumb. He's running the 12 down. He's all over him. You come and do a green flag stop. You've caught him drastically in these last few laps, and you're on him. Like you're basically coming to pit road together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need to do what he was trying to do in that exact moment. I think that's a mistake. Obviously it took him out of the race. And I just, sometimes he does some things that to me are just not necessary. Yeah. Probably the fastest driver on the track in raw speed. Doesn't matter. He's so quick. But you're right. There are times where some of the aggression is just way too much. I mean, he's lucky he won that race in Vegas and didn't lose it in wreck, because he'd have to be going to Martinsville to win, which is probably one of his worst tracks. If probably the only track he's not good at. So, I just, some of those things are just, they're just not necessary. I mean, you gotta be able to think and make, the right decisions. And in that moment, from the outside looking in, that was a big mistake. I think everybody anywhere watching it would agree that was a huge mistake and not necessary to push it that close. I know, Eric, you and I were talking earlier, and you're talking about, well, the 12 did catch him and was like better than him on the longer run. So maybe he was trying to push it as close as he could to maybe get in front of him in the pit stop. But
maybe
at the end of the day, he ran into the tire barrier. He took himself out of the race. He lost a chance at winning a race. And he tore up a car. So, and he almost took the 12 out also. So, I just don't, I think that hopefully he continues to learn and grow from those things. We see him do some incredible, amazing things that are just like unbelievable. And then you see that and you're driving into the pit wall barrier. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know his way, but kudos to him for never changing. You know that saying, what do they say? He never changed like that. He's doing the same thing. He just gets in the car, drives the crap out of it. And he's just full tilt the whole time. But I think, there's a balance to that. You have to learn when to hone it in, pull it back.
Because we've seen both extreme results of the way he drives just in the past couple of years. So in 2021, he had a great car, obviously, but he was aggressive, won 10 races in the championship. So it worked for him that year. But then last year, 2022, if you remember, in the round of 12, he made a mistake at the Roval, hit the outside wall, bent the toe link, and got eliminated. So, we've seen the best and the worst from Larson being aggressive. I will say this, Larson is probably the most entertaining driver to watch in Cup right now. I think there's a reason a lot of fans have gravitated towards him. He's obviously really talented, and I think he also kind of lets things go pretty quickly. I think that's something that fans kind of appreciate. Even this week, when he was at first sort of saying, Blaney maybe was a little slow, but he didn't dwell on that. He then admitted, I'll go look at the data. It looks bad. Maybe I was pushing too hard, what have you. Like, he even let that go pretty fast. And I think I think Larson races aggressive, but more often than not, he races fair and is kind of willing to let things go. I think about the battle between him and Kyle Busch at Chicago in 2018 when, Larson failed a slide job. Busch paid him back. Afterwards, there were absolutely no hard feelings. Larson finished second,
Yeah.
did not care. Like, he was like totally like, that's racing. And I think a lot of fans do resonate with that. So he's
100%.
the most entertaining, even though the results could absolutely be better considering his talent, I think.
Well, I think through all the stuff that he's been through over the year, he's been able to really show his real character when, especially in his interviews, like he's so honest. And I appreciate that from him too. Like you said, even just like, hey, I have to look at the data, but maybe I just got in there way too hot and ran into the fence. I made a mistake. Like, I think that I like that. Right. I'm just saying on my side of things, it's just like, hey man, maybe just tone it down like 1%. I'm not talking 5% or 10% or whatever. I'm like, just like you're in second place, you're all over them. Don't take yourself out of it entirely on just like for what that didn't. I think he probably would have been able to win the race.
He would have absolutely been one. Yeah, had a great shot. Well, on that, I do just kind of want to ask you, and every person, every driver is different, but if we ask Larson to dial it back 1%, how easy is that to do? And where I'm getting at with this is like Ross Chastain, everyone was begging up for him to dial it back 1%. And ever since he supposedly did that, he's been a non-factor. And
I think
the cars aren't as good. I don't think that's the reason.
I don't think Ross Chastain has dialed it back 1% at all. I think he's the same. I think, and what I mean by dial it back 1%, I mean, just like in those crucial moments, you've got to know that sending it up 220% into the pit road at Homestead on old tires where it's slick. It's like one of the most difficult pit roads to get to. Maybe just do it 219%.
I guess
it's going to be fine.
That's fair.
I mean, that's what I mean. I don't mean like all out take 1% away from them everywhere. Absolutely not. Full send on restarts, full send on everything. I just mean in a crucial, pivotal moment of the race where it means everything, you just got to be perfect, especially in Cup. You can't have that type of mistake. And I'm sure he's going to look at the data. He's going to talk about it. He's going to go over it. His team had a little meeting. I don't know if you saw the picture.
I did.
All outside the hall. Like, they're going to be fine. But, he's, you just got to learn those things. And I'm sure they're going to be talking about it and breaking it down and discussing it. And it probably won't ever happen again because he is that good. It probably won't ever happen again. But you have to know, like, that when's the time to go, when's not time to go, when's the time to send it 228% into the tire barriers, and when is it not? That I think it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think he is that good, but I disagree. I do think it will happen again. He might not go into the tire barriers.
Barriers.
But he'll do something. There will be the next year. There will be something Larson does where we go, ooh, didn't maybe need to be pushing that hard, but he's also going to do three things that make me go, wow, holy crap, he's that good.
Exactly. So, well, you can't fault him for sending it either. So I don't want people listening to think that I'm saying that. It's just like, you have to be perfect. He oversent it and wrecked. It is what it is. But I'm sure he'll fix that. It may not happen at Homestead again, but maybe it'll, like you said, there'll be more excitement and spark somewhere else.
There'll be something for sure. But that's why he is, again, the most entertaining driver in Cup these days. I believe.